Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door, and whilst you're leaving your bias at the door, open it up and let Mr. Tony Pulis come in, because Mr. Pulis is back and he is going to be managing at Sheffield Wednesday. The news came out that Gary Monk was gone late on Monday night. Bit of a leaky one. We kind of knew a few days ago, just been waiting for the official word on this, but very open, and the betting all stopped, and in comes Pulis now. Announced, there is the roll of honour. You can see there he's replaced Gary Monk. Chansiri probably never wanted to get rid of Steve Bruce in the first place, did he? That was going well, but Bruce went off to do Newcastle. If we go back a bit further, the other two Chansiri hires there, little bit of a different approach taken as Mr. Chansiri has gone through his tenure at Sheffield Wednesday. European, Carvajal and Lahukai, and then in the end, maybe as the money dripped away, he went more pragmatic, stayed old guard, successful, tenured English UK managers, let's just say, and obviously Bruce, Monk, and now 62-year-old Welshman Tony Pulis all fit that bill, don't they? Here is the current situation that we know only too well. Sheffield Wednesday are in 23rd position in the table, 1 point off safety, but we all know it's not really that simple, is it? Because of the points deductions and then adding points back on. So Sheffield Wednesday have been deducted 6 points. They would indeed, if they didn't have the 6 point deduction, be on 12 points with a goal difference of -4. So they would only actually be 2 places higher. They're in 21st. But critically, they would not be in the relegation zone. They've not been performing like a team that wants to stay in the Championship for quite a while, actually. When we did the Gary Monk leaving video, we did the analysis, and it was clear that from basically the second half of last season, Sheffield Wednesday were in relegation form. It's only Hull that were worse than them. So they were in the form, 23rd best in the league over the entire second half of last season, to match the position that they are in now. Lots of arguments in terms of the psychology and did the FFP charge make any difference? We'll never know. And in the absence of the fact that we'll never know and what difference, in fact, it made to the first part of this season, or indeed the decision to get rid of Gary Monk, all we can really look at is the actual numbers. And the numbers say that Monk didn't do a very good job for the last, 34 games. That is, we had a bit of back and forth with Wednesday fans who, my argument this season was that there was one thing they needed to do, and that was avoid relegation with a -12 point handicap. That changed a lot when it became -6. It's obviously, it's literally half of the punishment, but it's 2 wins, isn't it? And when you string that out to the 12 points and the 4 wins, I think it becomes much more of a millstone, and you're chasing for much, much longer, aren't you? So some Wednesday fans still were arguing that it wouldn't be good enough anyway with the 12 points, with or without the 12 points, and them being in 21st. That's all a moot point. Monk has gone, and basically Pulis needs to pull Wednesday away from the bottom of the table with -6 points. I don't think there's anything else other than that on the table short term. Long term, who knows? But hey, we'll go into that in a little bit, won't we? Here is the current Wednesday squad. We'll work from the bottom upwards. Kieran Westwood, I wonder whether he'll bring him back, because that's been going on and on and on with the new contract and being bombed out. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Across the back, obviously the standout name there would be Aidan Flint, who Pulis signed for Borough. It didn't really work out at Borough. And Flint has not had great things to say about his time there. So be interesting to see whether that was down to the manager or just not the best season of his career. Watch this space on that one. I think he's injured at the moment, isn't he? So then another one there. Look up the top there, second row. Barry Bannon, who I've looked up the quotes. They're not as damning as you would think, but Bannon was with Pulis at Palace. And the way Bannon tells it is Pulis said to him, look, if we were going to play football, you'd be the first name on my team sheet, but we're in a scrap. And so a dainty little beautiful passer, left footer like Barry Bannon wasn't the right guy. Now, whether or not that was, I don't particularly fancy you as a player, dressed up slightly differently. We know managers have different psychological tricks in that regard. But Bannon says he was honest with him and out he goes. So it'd be interesting to see the relationships with those two. And then Gary Monk was trying to get goals there out of Callum Patterson, Jack Marriott, Ilias Kachunga there. Jordan Rhodes still around. Again, we wonder what will occur and what Mr. Pulis will want to do. And which of those players are going to suit his methodology of football. There is the Pulis story. And the first thing to look at is, I know people say, oh, uninspiring or old guard or dinosaur, but I think we should always be respectful. What a career that is. Look, 1992 he started, over 1,000 games. So whatever you say, whatever your judgment is, we need to be respectful of a hell of a tenure, coming up nearly 30 years working as a manager. You can see the early years there. I remember him and the playoff final against Manchester City. Remember that famous one where Gillingham are virtually up. They're 2-0 up, and then who scores? Horlock and Dickov, I think, score for Manchester City right at the end. Off he then goes to do Bristol City. That only lasts for 33 games there. And then Pompey. So a couple of short tenures. First go around at Stoke, then Plymouth. But we all know it was the brilliant work he did at Stoke for 7 years there, taking them from the Championship into the Premier League. We'll look in a bit more detail. And then, strangely, did a good job at Palace, and then just the run at West Brom. I didn't realise he was there for quite so long, 121 games. And it seemed like the perception of Pulis, he went from being a Premier League manager to a Championship manager during that West Brom tenure. That just seems to be how it has worked out. There is a bit more detail on Stoke. Just superb for them. 8th place in his first season. 2nd place with 79 points, I have to say. A little bit lucky to get up with 79 points. That is an extraordinarily low total to get out, but he got them out. It's a competition at the end of the day, and he finished 2nd. And then we know in the Premier League, he shook them up. 12th, 11th, 13th, 14th, 13th. Some people bring up the fact that Mark Hughes then went 9th, 9th, 9th with Stoke. But we know that the tactical diversity that he used and the way he used the stadium and just made it horrible for people to go up against Stoke. And a really good, fun time. Always good to have a team like that upsetting the apple cart, shaking things up, especially as an underdog. And the word underdog might be key at the end of our analysis here. Got Stoke to the Cup final and into Europe. So a superb job considering where they went from and where they ended up and where they are now, frankly. We've got him holding the Manager of the Year award at Palace there. That was 13-14, so after Stoke. And again, he's really functioning as an elite level manager, isn't he? If he's going into Palace, they'd started really badly under Holloway, and he gets them to 11th and takes the Manager of the Year award. So, as I said, there's some point, obviously, at West Brom where, I don't know, Does the game move a little bit ahead of what he's doing? Do his methods, is everyone familiar and he can't quite adapt? And I don't know, but he then does become a championship manager over that 120 games at West Brom. And then he winds up at Borough, which I think was a bit of a disappointing period, really. So Borough come down. They're only going to get 2 years parachute payments because Karanka only had them up for 1 season. Gibson gives a load of the money, ironically, to Gary Monk. So Pulis not replacing Monk for the first time because he replaced him at Borough as well. So it's a really well-trodden path, isn't it? I hadn't recalled that little quirk of the story. In he comes, and in that first season, they lose in the playoffs. I was at the playoff semi-final second leg. You can check back my actual reaction at the time to see what I said, bang, right after, literally after the game. But it was Bruce and it was Pulis. It was very dull, and Jedinak scored a header in the first leg, and it was 0-0. But I just want to draw your attention to the team. Really, what Borough had that maybe Sheffield Wednesday won't have. Look, Randolph's excellent. Gibson's now back here with Norwich. Friend, Fryshot and all stayed players here. Howson a couple of years younger. He's still there at Borough. Clayton's off at Birmingham. Besic was loaned down. And then, Downing, Traore, Assombalonga. Traore was frightening that season, and Assombalonga got 16 goals. I don't know. I just feel a bit of a missed opportunity. And then again, the collapse the next season. Okay, he didn't have Adama Traore, but we go through. I've got them ordered in the games they played. So Randolph, Howson, Assombalonga friend. Flint, he brought in Hugill at championship level. Still Downing, Ayala, Besic again. Clayton, Saville, shot and wing. Fletcher came in, didn't he? I think that might have been under Monk, to be fair. And then he brought in Tavernier as a youngster. And look down the bottom there, John Obi and Danny Bart, who are probably going to finish in the top 8, top 6 with Stoke this season, aren't they? So I don't think he did the best job, really, at Borough. And there was a big collapse, wasn't there? They were in the playoff spots. I know that Villa were coming fast with that crazy 10-game run. The winning streak in 18-19, but Derby got in there late, and I think he still should have got them in there. But I think he lost 6 on the trot or something towards the end of the season, and was removed of his duties. Then look, it would have been a hell of a playoff, wouldn't it? Who would they would have been playing? There you go, Bielsa's Leeds. Things could have been very different if he'd have been up against Pulis's Borough. And not Lampard's Derby, but that's all by the by. My point is that Palace, brilliant, yeah, fantastic. West Brom, did he get a bit stale? And then Borough, not great. And that's our most recent evidence at championship level. So let's give some final thoughts, as in, how will he do? Is he the right man? And who would I hire if I was Chansiri? So I'm not certain it is the greatest hire, I have to say. It's certainly not the most inspiring one. Is it fair to draw a direct comparison with Borough a couple of years back and Sheffield Wednesday now? I don't know. It's the same division, it's the same management. Look, Flint, literally one of the same players as well. But it's a very different job, isn't it? Borough were expected to be challenging for promotion with that squad and with the parachute payments for those 2 years, and they'd been up there. This is Sheffield Wednesday, and I don't know, is this more similar to what he did at Stoke, where it's a team that is an underdog? I'm going to use that word. Is he better as an underdog manager? But then was West Brom an underdog in the Premier League as well, and that didn't quite work out over the long reign, did it? I don't know. I certainly think he'll pull them up away from the foot of the table. I suppose it depends. What do you want as a Wednesday fan? The first years of Chansiri was playoff final, playoff semi-final, and then I think did they just then miss out the next year, and it's sort of deteriorated since as the FFP stuff has gone and Chansiri's realised he's plumbed a lot of money in there and not got into the Premier League. So Sheffield Wednesday's a damn big club though, isn't it? What is their level? I don't think it's bottom 6 of the Championship, let's just say. So maybe he needs to get them back into the middle of the Championship sustainably, and Chansiri can settle his ownership down and it be a little less chaotic. That might sound a bit dull and a bit, I don't know, uninspiring, unambitious for a club of Wednesday's size. But look, the spending obviously wasn't sustainable. We literally have profit and sustainability rules that they've been punished for breaching. So I don't really know. I think like Houghton at Forest, although they've got a much stronger squad, I think that they will rise up through the table. And I guess, can they get a bit of momentum going? And the question I'm asking is, do you get the Pulis, albeit of 13 years ago, that was brilliant for Stoke, and I suppose even better for Palace to get them to 11th? Do you get that guy? In which case, if you're a Wednesday fan, it's happy days. Here we go, up the table we go, and promotion, here we come. Or do you get the Pulis that you had at Borough, where he didn't quite make the expectations? And do you understand my point that the expectations are a bit lower? Does that play into Pulis's favour? I don't know. I'm not saying Wednesday's a smaller club than Borough. They're certainly not. But the expectations with the parachute money and a -6 points starting at 23rd are very different, aren't they? It's, look, get up the table. That's exactly what Steve Bruce did after Lahukai was there. So how will he do? I think I've answered that. And is there a bit of a question that some of that squad could be doing a little bit, functioning a little bit higher up the table? If you can get Barry Bannon, Izzy Brown, Aidan Flint, Mas Luongo playing well, Adam Reach, some good players in there that have functioned higher than bottom 6 before. Who would I want? I don't know. I think Paul Cook could have done the similar things that Pulis will do in terms of stable, solid, but might have had a bit more of a string to his bow, a bit more modern. The 4-2-3-1 that Wigan played. Look, they were intense, and they could be direct, but they were having some pretty fine phases of play and scoring some pretty nice goals there with people like Robinson and Dowell, and okay, they had big Kiefer Moore up top, but maybe that might have been the halfway house between a pragmatist like Pulis and, I don't know, a complete purist. I know they probably wouldn't have a chance of getting Eddie Howe, but you probably wouldn't want someone who's going to come in and say, right, I'm changing absolutely everything, and we're gonna line up and play out from the back and through midfield. That probably wasn't going to work. So maybe Paul Cook might have been halfway house, but there you go. What do I know? I'd like to know what you think, especially if you're a Wednesday fan. I heard Simon Jordan do a really good piece on this on Twitter. Is it the right man, possibly to get them away and up into the middle? And it's a case of can they then move on another level once they're in the middle? Because that's what you would want if you were a Wednesday fan. Is it inspiring? I don't know. Maybe not. It's a very familiar manager, but we should... I think people are a bit disrespectful to managers who have been managers for years and years. Like it's a bad thing. It's a good thing to have managed 1,000 games, That experience can be a really big thing. So as much as familiarity sometimes breeds contempt, we should respect a nearly 30-year tenure and 1,000 games and a lot of decent success at a higher level than 23rd in the Championship. So I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence about this one. I think he'll do okay. Could they have done something a bit more inspiring? But then again, what the hell does inspiring mean? I thought Paul Hurst at Ipswich was an inspiring appointment, a young manager from League One who was going to have new, different ideas after Mick McCarthy was in there. Look how that turned out. So inspiring, who cares? Is he going to do a good job or not, I guess? Let me know your thoughts. And what I would ask, I really want to hear from Wednesday fans. We get always good comments from Wednesday fans, and big club, loads of fans. But if you are going to suggest that it's not the guy you would have wanted, all I'm going to do is ask who you would have wanted. So if you do say, I wouldn't have hired him, which is absolutely fine as an opinion, say who you would have hired instead, because that's just the next question in the debate, just to get a good flow going down there in the comments. Let me know what you think. Tony Pulis in at Sheffield Wednesday. I'm on the fence. I don't think they'll get relegated now with the 6 points and with this hire. But where next? Let me know what you think in the comments. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.